Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Clutter. I'm your host, Margo Staten. And today we will be talking about how to declutter one of the most cluttered, chaotic, and messiest spaces in our homes, our living room. Living rooms are wonderful spaces where we gather as a family to quietly enjoy quality time, watch TV, read a book, have a cup of coffee in peace. All right, I'm just kidding. That's not at all what happens. Instead, typically, our living rooms are filled with destruction. Our kids' toys are everywhere. There are cups, there are plates, there's paper clutter, there's clothing, there's our pet stuff. I feel like living rooms on an average get messy probably every 15 minutes. Because living rooms tend to be high traffic areas, because we spend so much time in the space and we use it, it's really, living rooms are multifunctional purpose spaces. So depending on the size of your family, pets, kids, you name it, it tends to feel like a stampede goes through it every single day. I don't know, as I say stampede, I think of Jumanji, when there's that scene when all the animals and the rhinos are kind of running through the streets. That's what a living room reminds me of. So super high traffic area. And you might be thinking, what's the point of cleaning it if it's just going to get messy again tomorrow? While it may seem helpless, the truth is the less unnecessary stuff you have in the living room, the less of a mess there will be. More importantly, the less time you will spend on cleaning, and you can actually enjoy family fun and be present for it. In general, whether it's the living room or the kitchen or the bathroom or the entryway, the rule of thumb is that the less stuff you have, the less chaotic and messy it's going to get. It's completely normal to have a messy space, okay? I am not in any way, shape, or form here to tell you that your home must be clean 24/7. Look, I am by no means a minimalist, and I have a child and I have a dog, so my home gets messy. However, what I can tell you is that the less clutter, the less unnecessary stuff we have in our home, the quicker it is to tidy up. And that is what we're going to talk about today. It's really focusing on eliminating these 15 items that will transform your living room into a clutter-free, yet at times messy oasis. So let's jump into these 15 items now. As always, start with the easier stuff first. If you are a beginner when it comes to decluttering, then you really don't want to tackle the more sentimental, emotionally driven items first. So, number one, you want to tackle surface clutter. So trash, dishes, papers, anything that's preventing you from seeing your tables and shelves. Maybe you have shelving with a bunch of trinkets that you don't actually need, that you probably haven't dusted in the last year or two. Be honest, when was the last time you dusted these items? So go through every single surface in your living room and get rid of that visual clutter, all of those random items that you don't need that are just kind of hanging out there, especially paper clutter that tends to really accrue in our living rooms. Let it go. The next one, and this is for maximum clutter-free impact, is to eliminate large, bulky items, specifically furniture. So furniture items that are broken or unused. Maybe it's that chair that was passed down to you from your grandparents and it's huge and it's bulky and it's ripped. And yes, there is sentimental value attached to it. Look, if it brings you joy, if it doesn't stress you out, hold on to it. But if you're okay, maybe even just taking a photo of the item and letting the item go, then go for it. Eliminating bulky furniture that is not necessary, that really just acts to attract clutter, is going to create maximum impact in your space. It also gives you more room to do other things, exercise, play with your kids, play with your pets, whatever it may be. The next one is declutter your pillows and your throw blankets. Now, If you're somebody who watches my YouTube channel, then you will know that I do have throw pillows and throw blankets on my couch. So, with that said, again, I am not telling you to get rid of everything. But if there are one too many pillows, if you have to literally throw pillows on the floor in order to sit down, maybe it's one too many pillows or throw blankets. So just kind of evaluate the look. I have a very kind of Swedish style, cozy and inviting space. So I absolutely love, accent pieces and blankets, but just use them sparingly, use them wisely. A great habit is to also swap them out seasonally, which is something I mentioned I do. So maybe if you have extras, but you enjoy kind of, changing things up every 3 months, every 6 months, then store the additional pillows and throw blankets that you don't actually need in the closet. Again, vacuum sealed bags are a great way to maximize storage for these items. Next are your knickknacks. So we all have them. We have the picture frames, the mini statue that maybe you got for Christmas 10 years ago, one too many candles, maybe some candles you already burnt out, but yet you're holding on to the jar anyways. Let me know if this resonates. So go through all of those knickknacks. A 60-second purge is fantastic for this. Remember, this is where you grab a box or a bin. You can walk around your living room space and literally just remove things like knickknacks from surfaces and then either donate, sell, or trash. This is also a fun activity to do with your kids. You can set a 60-second timer and you can have them also run around the living room and kind of collect things that they feel that your home does not need and could be decluttered. This also builds great habits for them as well. Don't forget to check in the media cabinets, drawers, and your coffee table for these knickknacks. Next is wall decor. I love certain accent pieces of wall decor. I am artistic in nature, so there are some pieces that I have created on my own. There are some pieces that I've created with my daughter. They hold sentimental value, so I do have paintings and such on my walls. I'm not asking you to get rid of it all, right? But take a look at your space. By the way, a really good hack for this, because sometimes we experience something called clutter blindness. Because we're in our space all the time, we actually tend to not see the clutter anymore. Yep, totally happens. It's a real thing. So a good way to figure out what wall decor to get rid of is to actually take photos of your living room space. And the photos tend to show a little bit more than if you were just kind of staring at a wall that you're used to staring at every single day of your life. And then just kind of, edit it out. Maybe in the photos you see that, okay, these two paintings can go, or maybe a set of picture frames on the walls can go as well. Maybe you're someone who has a lot of like, this house is filled with love. I love those plaques, by the way. So I'm not judging you in any shape or form, but again, kind of assess and be like, is this something that I can actually get rid of? If you have a cluttered wall, by removing some pieces from your wall, it'll actually open up your living room space, making it more airy. Next is tech accessories. If you're somebody that has a ton of unnecessary tech accessories all over the place, if you have wires and charging ports and a slew of other things, again, just kind of self-evaluate. If you're someone who also maybe has your office in the middle of your living room, maybe organize that a little bit as well. I love these all-in-one charging stations. So instead of having a bunch of ports all over every single outlet, just invest in one neat, sleek charging table for all of your devices. The next one is burnt candles. I have so been guilty of this. I love my entryway candle. I am a huge fan of the smells vanilla and pumpkin and seasonally pine. And some of these candles are like so beautiful that after you've burnt them out, you feel the need to keep them as knickknacks or decorative items. Don't do that. Walk around your space. I think that this is an easy declutter and get rid of burnt candles. Next up is books and magazines. So if you have a ton of books, I'm not saying necessarily on the bookshelves, although I do recommend that you do go through your bookshelves and maybe donate or give away, right? You can even, put your books outside of your home with a nice little sign that says free. And that's a great way to kind of declutter and open up space in your home. Again, if your books bring you joy, if they make you happy, as long as you're not holding on to them for the wrong reasons, such as an example could be you spent money on them. Maybe it's a textbook or textbooks that you spent money on 10 or 15 years ago, and you're holding on to them because you feel wasteful and like you're throwing money away when you get rid of those books. I completely understand that sentiment, but also prioritize yourself and what it's doing to you when you hold on to these textbooks that are at this point completely useless. So self-evaluate your books. If you have magazines all over the house, like we tend to subscribe to magazines and newsletters and such, and then we kind of hold on to them. And again, I've been guilty of this as well. Like I'll read it next time, or I'll finish reading it 4 months from now. And like that doesn't happen because the magazines keep coming and like there's no way for me to catch up. So just be conscious, sit down, set a timer maybe for 15 minutes and go through all of your magazine. The ones that you don't need, recycle them. The same goes for our next item, which is paper clutter. Paper clutter is really something that you want to be on top of, especially if you have kids. Our kids come home with a ton of paper clutter from school, from camp, from extracurricular activities, from activities that we do with them inside of the home, their drawings, their artwork, etc., etc., etc. Paperwork tends to pile up. Again, if you maybe work from home and you have a lot of work-related paperwork, you really want to have a system that's not so much a once and done approach, but you want to kind of develop the habit of going through your paperwork because it tends to go from zero to like a mountain that you're drowning under. So pencil it in, set an alarm, and declutter your paperwork. Next is mail. Mail is also something just like paperwork that tends to accrue and accrue and accrue and accrue. And sometimes we have so much mail that we might actually even lose a bill or two and incur a late fee. I don't know. Has that ever happened to you? Hit me up on Instagram at Be Good to Yourself by Margo and let me know. Let's have a chat about mail and paper clutter. Mail also tends to accrue when we don't deal with it right away, and also when we don't have a designated space. I believe firmly every single home should have some type of mail caddy. I'm not saying you have to get fancy and have a wall mount and like a decorative bin. I mean, you could just literally have like the lid of a box. Like it doesn't matter, but your mail should have a home to go to, and it's best practice to deal with your mail right away. So instead of just kind of throwing it on the coffee table or the kitchen countertop, go through the mail and whatever you need, whatever's bills, whatever's important, put it in the mail caddy. Whatever is just spam and stuff, toss it, let it go, get rid of it before it grows and grows and grows. Next, and I alluded to this a little earlier, is kids' artwork. As mamas, we are sentimental from the first picture that our little one draws, which is typically like a squiggly line. And we're like, oh my God, what is this? And they're like, it's a giraffe, Mom. And we're like, oh my God, it is. No, it's not. But it doesn't matter because we love and support our children. And we love and have sentimental value attached to the beautiful artwork that they create. And yes, probably just like you, I put some pieces of my daughter's artwork on my refrigerator. Yes, I do. Be mindful of how much of your kids' artwork you're holding on to and why. The last thing you want to do is accrue 18 years worth of your child's artwork. I mean, you're going to have to literally move to a bigger space just to accommodate all of this paper clutter. A great way to also do this, I do this with my daughter, is to, with your kiddos, go through their artwork. And if they're really, truly excited about one piece that they created that's wonderful, hold on to it. If you love a piece of artwork and maybe, again, it has a memory for you, hold on to it. But try to get rid of as much as possible because it's only going to get bigger. They're going to create more stuff and you're going to start running out of space. I declutter my daughter's artwork at a minimum 4 times a year. Next are your kids' toys and your pets' toys tend to make their way into our living room spaces. In my living room, I actually have a metal bin with my dog's toys, and every time I get a new one, I tend to follow the 1 in, 1 out rule. So if I buy Coffee is my dog. She's a chocolate lab pit rescue. So anytime I buy Coffee a new toy, I get rid of an existing toy. She doesn't like it. I have to do it behind her back when she's not looking. Same thing with our kids' toys. So not only should we declutter our kids' and pets' toys, but we also should have places or bins to place them into. Organization, if you want a clutter-free looking home, clean and tidy, then every single item in your space should have a home to go to. And our kids' toys can be returned back to their room. Our dog's toys can be returned to a bin. I know what has worked for so many families is to actually have a one designated bin in the living room for their kids' toys. So at the end of the day, we sing clean up, and we put the toys in the bin, and you can even take that bin and bring it into their room or just kind of leave it there. However, whatever works for your family, but we try to keep things very, very simple and teach our kiddos how to tidy up at the end of the day. Next up are board games. My family loves Friday night is board game night, and we will make popcorn and we will put on a movie and we will play board games, and I love it. But again, board games, especially if you have kids, our kiddos grow out of some of them. Obviously, some of them we just kind of got and then we realize we don't really play. So take a quick moment, go through your board games, whatever your family loves and needs, hold on to it. Whatever you play, hold on to it. Some of the older games or games that are, you know what I'm talking about, missing a ton of pieces. Like if you have Monopoly and all the money is gone and the cards have been chewed up by the dog, then maybe it's time to let Monopoly go. Next are carpets and rugs. Again, this is completely subjective. I have one central rug in my living room. I actually love rugs, but I prefer to focus on just having kind of one piece. So if you're somebody that maybe has a ton of rugs and a ton of carpeting in your living room space, see if you can edit some of it out. And the last one is declutter dead plants. If you have a lot of plants in your home and you're somebody who maybe doesn't have a green thumb, and there are some plants in your home that have died and are past their prime and they're just sitting there and you don't even water them anymore, get rid of it, right? It's aesthetically, you might not notice it, but it's aesthetically acting as clutter. So do a quick inventory. If you have plants that are dead, get rid of them. Also, if your plants have dead leaves, right, kind of giving off that like half dead look, take a few moments, prune them, cut it off, water your plants, make them look nice, fresh, and lovely. If you don't have plants in your home, I absolutely love plants. I think that plants bring life into a home. Again, it is not for everybody, but I am here to tell you, if you do not have a green thumb, there are a number of plants that you can get that are very, very difficult to kill. An example of this is the peace lily plant, or otherwise known as a spot helium. Keep in mind that creating the ambiance of a clean and tidy living room is not actually about it being clean and tidy, because it's going to get messy. It's about eliminating clutter and then having designated spaces for things to go back to. And this also makes cleanup at the end of the day, or rather a living room reset routine that I hope you have at the end of the day, much quicker and easier. Thank you so much for listening. As always, good luck on your decluttering journey, and always remember to be good to yourselves.